Picture two people. One earns $200,000 a year. Good job, steady promotions, a nice car in the driveway. The other earns $60,000, manages a retail store, drives a 10-year-old sedan. 10 years from now, the second person has more money saved than the first. That's not a hypothetical. It's close to the median outcome the Federal Reserve keeps finding when it surveys American households. Income and net worth track each other far more loosely than almost anyone assumes. So, if it's not about how much you make, what is it about? In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the actual mechanism, the one nobody hands you a manual for, that decides who builds wealth and who doesn't. It's not intelligence, it's not luck. And once you see it, you'll probably recognize it in your own bank account. Here's the assumption almost everyone starts with. If I just earned more, I'd finally get ahead. It's a reasonable thing to believe. More income obviously means more room to save. Except the data doesn't cooperate. The Fed's own household survey puts the typical American family's net worth at around $193,000. Families in the top 10% of earners, a median north of $2.5 million. That gap looks like it's about income, but look inside a single income bracket, and the spread is just as wide. Plenty of six-figure earners with almost nothing saved, sitting right next to modest earners with real wealth behind them. So here's the real question. Why do two people with similar paychecks end up in completely different financial positions 20 years later? Part of the answer is wired into how your brain handles money in real time. Economists call it present bias, the pull to wait right now far more heavily than 20 years from now, even when you know better. Pair that with hedonic adaptation. Whatever lifestyle you get used to becomes your new normal within months, and anything less starts to feel like a loss. Give most people a raise, and spending rises right along with it. Not because they're careless, but because that's what a normally functioning brain does with more room to spend. That's only half of it, though. The other half isn't in your head, it's in your environment, and it's not an accident. Marketing exists to make the next purchase feel necessary. Credit is easier to access than it's ever been, and researchers keep finding the same pattern. People spend more on visible, status-signaling purchases, specifically when they're surrounded by people who are wealthier than they are. It's called positional consumption, and study after study ties it to measurably higher rates of consumer debt. So you've got a brain that discounts the future, sitting inside an economy that's specifically built to trigger that exact weakness. That's not a character flaw. That's the default setting most people are running on, including, at some point, probably you. Here's what makes this dangerous. None of it feels urgent while it's happening. A gap of a few $100s a month, saved versus spent, doesn't look like anything in year 1. It barely looks like anything in year 5. Compounding is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It just keeps multiplying in the background, invisible, until the two paths have drifted so far apart that the difference finally becomes impossible to ignore. It's not one bad decision that creates that gap. It's the same small decision, repeated or not repeated, every single month, for years, before you ever see the result. And by the time it's visible, it's not a small correction anymore. It's a decade of divergence. Now, before this turns into another video, quietly blaming people for their own finances, it isn't, and it shouldn't. Real wages have not kept pace with real costs for a lot of people. Between 2019 and 2023, rents nationally rose roughly 30%, while wages rose about 20% over the same stretch. Housing now costs on average, more than 7 times the typical annual wage. Research from the Brookings Institution found that in 2024, close to half of US households didn't earn enough to cover their basic necessities. If you genuinely have nothing left at the end of the month, this video's mechanism isn't your problem. The math simply isn't there yet, and no amount of behavioral insight changes that. What follows is for a different, very common situation, when there is some room, but it keeps disappearing before it ever turns into savings. So if willpower isn't the fix, because willpower loses to present bias almost every time, what actually works? Removing the decision entirely. In the late 1990s, economists Richard Thaler and Shlomo Benazzi tested something simple. Instead of asking employees to decide every single month to save more, they had employees pre-commit once to automatically increase their savings rate every time they got a raise, before they ever saw the extra money land in their paycheck. The results weren't marginal. Average savings rates in the program climbed from about 3.5% to nearly 14% over 3.5 years, and most participants stayed enrolled through multiple raises. It worked so well that it eventually became federal policy. As of 2025, most new 401k plans in the US are required to automatically enroll employees and automatically increase their contributions by default. The lever isn't more discipline. It's making the wealth-building decision once, automatically, before your present bias brain ever gets a vote. Here's what that difference actually does over time. 2 people, same starting income. One saves whatever's left over, inconsistently, whenever willpower holds. The other automates a fixed percentage the moment it's paid, before it's ever seen or spent. Run that gap through even an ordinary modest rate of investment growth over 20 or 30 years, and you're not looking at a slightly bigger number. You're looking at 2 entirely different financial lives. Not because one person was smarter, earned more, or got lucky, but because one of them removed the decision and the other kept fighting it every month. To be clear, that's an illustration of how compounding behaves, not a promise about what any investment will actually return. Wealth isn't mainly built by what you earn. It's built by what you never had to decide to save, because the decision was already made for you automatically before your own brain got the chance to talk you out of it. That's the entire mechanism. Not talent, not luck, just one decision, made once, working quietly in the background for 20 years. If you want to know exactly how to set that decision up yourself, the specific, boring, 5-minute setup that does most of the work, that's next.